What up? Hey, what up? What up? Hey, what up? What up? Hey, what up? Hey, what up?
What up, though, YouTube? Welcome back to Lukegsfieldreview. Today we're going to do a video just showing why I believe that fact-based media is the best media. I believe it was Nas who said no idea is original, and if I'm quoting that wrong, feel free to correct me. But at the end of the day, here's what I know. I know that on January 29th, 2019, I produced a video on YouTube that you can see here clearly says Detroit Lions will trade the 8th pick with a question mark, breaking the Bob Quinn code. I just want you to listen to what I said in this video, a short insert. So let's start that off. About some things. And one of the first things we're going to break about the Bob Quinn code is Bob Quinn has an infatuation with certain college conferences. Since he's been brought to Detroit to be the GM, he has selected 8 SEC players. Okay? 8. He has selected 4 Big Ten players. Okay? And 2 Sun Belt, 1 ACC, 3 Pac-12, 3 MACs, 1 Big Sky, and 2 Mountain West. So the first thing that stands out to me is cracking this code is the first thing. Bob Quinn is planning on trading the 8th pick, and now, ladies and gentlemen, many of you know that I dropped this video on the 29th based on an interview that he had, and as sure as the sun rises and sets, what comes out that Bob Quinn says, I'm open for business. But if that's not enough, the reason I wanted to point this out and show you that with positive fact-based media gets positive fact-based results. And what I mean by that is the following. We are on ESPN website. And you may be wondering, well, Luke, why did you bring us here? My video came out in January, and I talked about the pattern that I noticed in terms of how he picked. And if you don't believe me, go watch that video. I talk about it in detail, that pattern. And then I see this article that come out on April 11th, 2019. Now, shout out to Travis Troxel from Troxel Sports Talk for showing me this article via Twitter. But what I want you to read is the title. What GM Bob Quinn's draft history could tell about the Lions' 2019 plans. Now, this can be pure coincidence, and this could also be pure great minds thinking alike, but I am under the belief, at least in my own ego, have to believe, okay, that somebody saw my video and thought, 1, what a great observation, 2, what a great idea for a story, and 3, is he on to something? Now, if that person who watched that video happened to be the writer of this, then thank you, because any good media that you could put out about the Detroit Lions is welcome. Now, here's what this article says. Bob Quinn has been a decent drafter for the Detroit Lions. Says he has found a good number of starters but has yet to land a true star. He has taken some players with breakout potential, but none has hit the upper echelon just yet. And then as he gets into it, it's going to sound real interesting. I broke down the conferences of it. He says, Quinn has been mostly consistent with only a couple of glaring misses. Most of those draft errors have been in the later rounds, where all prospects have flaws and the guessing game becomes much more difficult. For every Jamal Agnew, there's a Dwayne Washington. The only true miss Quinn has had is cornerback Teez Tabor, a 2nd-round pick in 2017, and there's still a chance for him, but 2019 is a crucial season. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm loving this article because as it gets into it, this is the perfect setup for what he's going to get into. So let's really get into it. He says, so what does all of this mean entering this year's draft? We'll try to explain. Let's start with this year's first pick. Quinn is open to a trade at number 8. Didn't I say that he was trading that pick? back in January. I just showed you the video that I put that out there. I also talked about the conferences. This article sounds real eerie. Just pay attention, people. I'm just showing you why I put out fact-based media without opinions, because it's easier to follow versus trying to figure out how you feel. Okay, now, after we go there, he says, what did I leave off of? Because I lost my point, because this is some juicy stuff. It says, at this point, almost every general manager in the league has to consider trying to move up or down, something that will continue throughout the draft. There's a decent possibility that Quinn doesn't move in the first round, but he has been very active in later rounds. Oh, it's gonna get good, people. It says, in 2 of his 3 drafts, he has made trades to either go up and snag a player or drop back to collect the extra pick or 2. Don't expect Quinn to stay put throughout the draft weekend. Now, this is where we get into it, people. It says, themes have emerged as Quinn entered his 4th draft as a general manager. Some from the scouting profile the Lions created that have leaning, as one would expect, from the Parcells-Belichick system that exists in New England. Those numbers rarely get shared, and there are 3 season samples to probably too small to be representative. Nonetheless, they picked up on my pattern. Now watch this right here. Let me get on down to it, because I want to get right into the next, but where are we at? Right here. This year, obviously, we have 9 picks. This is what Quinn says. So if you go into the draft with 6 picks, it's kind of hard, kind of double up on one position, really depending on what your roster looks like. Now, I'm not going to read that whole quote, people, because I'm going to link this article in there. What I'm going to jump to right here is this. So he's saying in terms of doubling up on those picks when you have less picks, and it says, for instance, in 2017, he took 2 cornerbacks, Teez Tabor and Jamal Agnew, and 2 linebackers, Jarrett Davis and Jalen Reeves-Maybin. It says, though all 4 players had different roles, Tabor on the outside, Agnew in the slot, Davis in the middle, Reeves on the outside. In 2016, in the first draft, Quinn had 10 picks and avoided doubling up on any position. Oh, look at the patterns here, people. Wow. It's amazing what happened when you just do it on facts. Now, let's get into this really quick. Let's go ahead and come on down a little bit more, because, again, there's a lot going on here, and I want people to look at it. So it says, as such, and this is a no-brainer, it says, expect a variety of positions to be addressed. Detroit has a reasonable number of needs: edge rusher, tight end, linebacker, wide receiver, quarterback, cornerback, and safety to consider. As Quinn is making those picks, figure that at least one will come from the Southeastern Conference. Now, for those who don't know what the Southeastern Conference is, that is the SEC. Oh, Lord Jesus. Did I not break that down in the video so eloquently? But let's just go ahead and get into this. It says, of the 25 selections Quinn has made as the Lions general manager, 8 have come from the SEC. Huh. Isn't that exactly what I happened to notice in my pattern in a video I made 2 months ago? Isn't that something? And then he goes on to say, right here, it says he has spoken before about the competition in the SEC and its potential a barometer for NFL success. Okay? And then he goes off, based off of his history. Funny. There's a decent chance that the SEC players heads to the Lions in the first 2 rounds. Now, if you watch that video in its entirety, you will notice that I generally break that down. I told you he favors 2 conferences, particularly the Big Ten, and he favors the SEC. And he also loves the MAC. Those are the 3 major conferences that he has seen to select from. But if that isn't enough to show you that somebody watches these videos, and there's a good reason why we probably shouldn't be doing all the crazy stuff in our videos, this is going to be an example of why not. So right here, what you're going to see is he gets into it. He says, of Quinn's 6 first and second round picks, 5 have been an SEC player. Yep, I said that, including the first 2 in the second round in 2017 and 18. At number 8, players such as Montez Sweat, I should hit myself with the punch button, but I'm saving it. Quentin Williams, Josh Allen, Johan Williams, Jawan Taylor, and Devin White would be options to keep the streak going, with other talented options such as Christian Watkins, Ed Oliver, Rashawn Gary, or TJ Hockenson. Now, what I want you to do is pay attention that he breaks down what conferences they are in, because I told you that he also speaks about the ACC. He likes these conferences. But notice that the Big Ten comes up. It says, these will break the 5-pick streak. Absolutely. But those are his second favorite conferences. It says, from the SEC school, Quinn has taken 2 Alabama players, Ashawn Robertson and Deshaun Hand, 2 Florida players, Jared Davis, T. Tabor, and 2 Arkansas players, Frank Ragnow and Jeremy Ledbetter. What he hasn't done since the first draft is take a Big Ten player. Now, that's since the first draft that he had. He has not taken a Big Ten player in that draft. It says he's taken 4 of them. However, Taylor Decker out of Ohio State, Graham Glasgow, and Jake Rudock out of Michigan, and Anthony Zettel out of Penn State. All Big Ten players. I mean, it almost sounds like he just wrote a beautiful article off of a video that he just stumbled upon. And it's a good thing he did this, because this is a phenomenal article. Now, he has also largely avoided the Big 12. And if you listen to my video, you will notice that I do not mention the Big 12 because he did not take anyone there. And I even have a little section where I show the East-West Shrine Game roster of players based on conferences that was not a part of the list that I've noticed, and I said you can expect those players not to get picked up. He says Quinn also has no issue choosing small school players. At least one player in each draft has come from a smaller conference, including Tracy Walker from last year's Louisiana, Kenny Galladay from Northern Illinois, those are a MAC school, Michael Roberts from Toledo, a MAC school, and Agnew from San Diego, a MAC school, Miles Killebrew from Southern Utah, and Antoine Williams from Georgia Southern. Now, in other words, expect Quinn to stick with a major conference in the first 2 rounds. Wow, that sounds familiar. It says, and possibly scoop up a small school player in the 3rd and 4th round, as he has done every year. I mean, it's almost like he took the words out of my mouth, people. It's almost like he took the words out of my mouth. It said, expect at least one player to come from the Senior Bowl. Quinn has loved the Senior Bowl in the past. And if you watch my video, you will see me do a deep dive in the Senior Bowl, because I've noticed these patterns. I literally dig and grab for the unusual, the things that people are not talking about, and that's the thing that I look at. It says, Quinn has loved the Senior Bowl in the past. Last year, 4 of Detroit's 6 picks were Senior Bowl invitees. Ragnow did not play, and Quinn has taken at least one Senior Bowl player every year. People, I have tried my best to try to give you some of the best media possible for our Detroit Lions, so it's unbiased and fair. And this just goes to show that other people respect what I do, and the other major media outlets that are speaking about it. And it says to do this. Quinn has been somewhat predictable when it comes to need filling, particularly early in the draft. Now, y'all wonder why I kept bringing up names like TJ Hockenson, because I told you that the pattern has been that he takes best player available for need, that solves more than one problem, that meets the criteria for football IQ, compassion, competitiveness, and high character. TJ Hockenson meets the 5 criteria, and he is the best player available for need if they're stuck at 8. In my opinion, that's just what I see. Now, okay, it goes on to say he likes to fill clear needs, doing so with Decker and Robinson in 2016, Davis and T-Bar in 2017, and Ragnow and Carrion in last year. All address very levels of needs at the time of their selection. Don't we need a tight end, people? Now, it says this isn't to say that he'll press for players at the position. In 2017, 2 of the team's biggest needs were running back and edge rusher. The Lions waited until the 6th round to take a defensive lineman, and neither Ledbetter nor Pat O'Connor are still on the team. Again, all fair. Now, this is what I'm going to do, because I'm going to link this in the description. I'm going to show you another one. okay? And the reason I'm showing you this, people, is because this is more so for you, the subscribers, and for my fellow YouTubers who are talking about the Lions. Your material that you put out there will get the generated notoriety and the respect if it's fact-based. No opinions, fact-based. Now, what does that mean? Okay, as you can see right here, on February 7, 2019, I did a video that said Khalil Hodge, Buffalo linebacker, worth Detroit Lions first round draft pick film study. And the reason I did that is because when I watched the film, I was truly impressed with Khalil Hodge. Now, why am I bringing that up? That was done in February, okay? That was done in February, people. On March 19th, 2019, as you can see, a CBS Sports writer, another great article because I think it points to something interesting. Read the title, people. In my video, I talk about the skill set of Khalil Hodge, and I tell you about his production, and I tell you if we were picking based on solely on production, he would be the pick. Now, it says here, 2019 NFL mock draft. Here's what happens if you pick guys based solely by college careers. Boy, I tell you, if I couldn't make this more perfect, I just couldn't. And we go ahead and we're going to take a nice look and scroll down. Wait, computer's freezing. I freaking hate technology. But we're going to take a nice look and we're going to scroll down, okay, people? And the reason we're going to do this is because you know that in my video, I said that he was worth that 8th pick. I said that. And the reason I said it is because I said based on the production, based on what I seen on film. And here we are coming on down, right? I did my video on February. This was done in March 19th. So this article was written March 19th. My video was done February 7th, 2019. This was done March 19th, 2019. And lo and behold, based on production at 8, the Detroit Lions select, according to this writer, if you do it based on production, Khalil Hodge. I can't make this stuff up. This is just beautiful. And it says, the last linebacker out of Buffalo named Khalil turned out to be pretty good. This one had, and then by this one they're referring to the current Khalil Hodge linebacker at Buffalo, 419 tackles, 21 tackles for a loss, 5.5 sacks, and 3 interceptions in 3 seasons. Ladies and gentlemen, I had to do it. I'm not tooting my own horn. What I'm saying to you is put things in perspective. And when you put these things in perspective, what you will find is that in due time, that perspective that has facts based only will garner a great level of respect. I just had to show you guys this because there was so much more in the media that I could have shown you that supports the ideas and the views that I have. It's not that I'm trying to be right. I'm just merely going based off of what I find as an investigator that the Lions have done as a trend and a pattern to understand what we're doing. And this is why I get excited for the 2019 football season. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, that right there is why we need to be more on the facts perspective versus the opinion. That's it for now, ladies and gentlemen. As always, I leave you with this great piece of advice. Don't be no chump. Please do your research.